Pagasa expects more rains to fall over Metro Manila and other areas, even as Typhoon Egay slowly moves away from the Philippines. The government has set an ambitious goal of cutting the poverty incidence by half before President Marcos ends his term in 2028. Presidential Advisor for Creative Communications Paul Soriano takes a break from government duties. We'll tell you why later on. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Typhoon Egay has maintained its strength as it moves northwest. Pagasa last spotted Egay some 70 kilometers west-northwest of Calayan in Cagayan. It is packing winds of up to 175 kilometers per hour with a gustiness of up to 240 kph. In the next 6 hours, the State Weather Bureau is expecting violent and life-threatening conditions over the Babuyan Islands, the northwestern part of mainland Cagayan, and the northern portions of Apayao and Ilocos Norte. Typhoon Egay is forecast to leave the Philippine area of responsibility by tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, the enhanced southwest monsoon will be triggering rains in the western portions of central and southern Luzon, as well as in the Visayas for the next 3 days. Signal number 4 is still up in some areas, including the northwestern portion of Cagayan, the Babuyan Islands, and the northern part of Ilocos Norte. Signal number 3 is also still up over some parts of Luzon, and we are flashing these areas on your screens right now. Meantime, signal number 2 is still up in several areas, while Metro Manila and other parts of Luzon are under signal number 1. Now, according to Pagasa, the bad weather brought about by the southwest monsoon will persist until Friday. In an interview with One News Now, weather forecaster Veronica Torres said the rains will not let up in Metro Manila and other parts of the country, at least until the end of the week. Torres added that the weather should improve when the habagat weakens after July 28 or by the weekend.
Yung maraming mga pag-ulan nakikita natin dito sa Western Visayas, Palawan, Occidental Mindoro, Zambales, and Bataan.
Moving on to another story now. The government wants to cut the number of poor Filipinos by half before President Bongbong Marcos ends his term in 2028. Can the recently launched food stamp program help achieve this goal? Charla Francisco tells us in this report.
Almost 20 million Filipinos are considered poor, based on the latest data of the Philippine Statistics Authority in 2021. This translates to a poverty rate of 18.1%, but the current administration wants to cut this rate by half to achieve a single-digit poverty incidence by 2028. If this happens, this would be equivalent to 9% of the population. The National Economic and Development Authority has yet to provide the number of Filipinos that will be considered poor by then. Still, they are confident they will meet their target.
Are we on track? I think given the recent developments, economic data that we have seen, we are definitely on track. As you have heard already many times by now, the economy is growing, grew at 7.6% last year. If you look at the jobs data, we also are reaching unemployment data have continued to decline.
However, NEDA said that rosy economic figures are not enough. Quality of jobs should be improved to further reduce poverty. NEDA said that the goal is for the labor market to match the demands of emerging markets such as artificial intelligence and green economy.
Without investment, there is no way you can improve that quality of jobs. You need to get those, to build factories, you need to build plants, equipment, roads, bridges, and so on, to be able to to employ more people in areas where you can our people can earn decent incomes. So that's the challenge, Daphne. And we are in a hurry because, as we keep on saying, many of our neighbors have left us long ago, but now we have the opportunity. As we keep saying, the stars are aligned, and if we miss this time, I don't know where we are going.
For their part, other agencies such as Department of Education and Commission on Higher Education are working to improve the quality of graduates to better equip them in the labor market.
We have identified niche programs where we can produce world-class professionals. So we are consciously linking Philippine universities with foreign universities so that their graduates will have both Philippine and international credentials. So we continue to be world-class.
We are about to launch the recalibrated K-10 curriculum in a few weeks' time, probably around mid-August. But the review of the senior high school curriculum, mainly grades 11 and 12, is underway. We already have a national task force doing that. We hope to complete that within a year's time. We are on learning recovery, so we needed to decongest our curriculum, focus more on the foundational or fundamental learning areas like math, science, reading, and
The government is also working on upskilling and reskilling the current workforce, including migrant workers.
Marami tayong nurses, teachers, iba pang mga professionals abroad na hindi passers ng board. So, SecTed, inumpisahan namin this year. Nagkanda kami ng mga online review.
But while all of these are underway, the government is doing its best to address the needs of the poor families. The food stamp program, for one, is aimed to end involuntary hunger among food-poor Filipinos. The Social Welfare Department assures the public that the list of beneficiaries are really considered food-poor and not just those chosen by political leaders.
It's always been a misconception that the selection of beneficiaries goes through the political leaders. Quite the contrary. All our programs, including 4Ps and now the food stamp program, ang anchor niyan is the listahan ng database that the department runs. The listahan ng database is a database based on saturation drive or a survey drive that's done by the department. The local leaders have no control over that. It's database driven and it's really isolated or insulated from our political leaders.
For now, the government is studying to make the program permanent in selected areas. Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
We're bringing you more stories after this quick break. Stay with us here on One News. You're back on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Presidential Advisor for Creative Communications Paul Soriano is on leave, citing personal matters. Press Secretary Cheloy Garafil confirmed that Soriano filed a leave of absence before President Bongbong Marcos' second State of the Nation address. Soriano was supposed to direct this year's SONA, but it was transferred to Radio Television Malacanang or RTVM. Recently, Soriano's wife, actress Tony Gonzaga, posted an Instagram story where she thanked her husband for his support during the last stretch of her second pregnancy. And it's already the next day, and we are still celebrating the historic first win of our women's football team. Marty Bautista gives us a blow-by-blow account of our FIFA World Cup breakthrough in this report.
World number 26 New Zealand entered the match against the Philippines in the FIFA Women's World Cup with an aggressive mindset. But they found a hard time barging through the Filipinas' solid defense. This opened the way for the long-awaited moment in Philippine football.
Retrieved again and lifted in for Bolden, who has scored the Philippines' first ever goal at a World Cup.
Serena Bolden drilled in the header to take the lead and to give the Philippines its first ever World Cup goal. The first half ended with the Pinays on top, 1-0.
What a moment!
In the second half, New Zealand was able to get through in the 68th minute. Jackie Hand's equalizing header went through the Pinoy defense, but teammate Hannah Wilkinson was called for an offside, therefore disallowing the goal. An offside is called when an offensive player is ahead of the defender before the pass. Despite that, New Zealand kept on trying to barge in. In the final minutes of extra time, the co-host once again had a chance to tie. But Pinay goalie Olivia McDaniel is there to defend. Final score, 1-0.
Touching distance. A first ever World Cup win for the Philippines, and they have beaten the co-host New Zealand. Serena Bolden's moment of joy, and there are tears. There are tears in the stadium. There will be emotions back home. This night belongs to the Philippines.
Bolden, who also scored the winning goal that brought the country to the World Cup, was emotional in the post-game interview.
It all happened so fast. I think just a cross came in, and for me, just kind of finding a way to get the ball into the net with whatever part of my body that's legal.
Pinoys in New Zealand were ecstatic after the match. They said they're extremely proud of what their fellow countrymen have achieved.
We are so proud. This is history in the making. Yeah, we're just proud to be Filipinos here in New Zealand. So we cheer for all the Filipino fans in the world. History in the making, baby!
Even more emotional were the Pinoys who joined the watch party. Some even shed tears of joy, especially after the crowd sang Bamboo's Noy Pi. With this win, the Filipinas' campaign to enter the knockout stage is very much alive. The biggest test for the national team will be on Sunday when they take on world number 12, Norway. For News 5, Marty Bautista, we are One News.
One News Now will be back tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. I am Sean Yao. We are One News. All sides, all the time.